when you go on vacation or whatever, or neither of them would ever go on vacation during the school year. But
it's summertime. Summertime vacation.
If you were going to be sick or something like that, you always had to do your lesson plans. A lot of lesson plans to get done before you leave.
The sub.
When you're going to be gone, you got to get all the lesson plans ready for whoever's going to run the board so they know what's going on, who to call, what time, how to do this. I'm going to be gone. I got to make sure everyone knows what to do for best ofs, for the sporting show, for this, for going out and covering. I think we got a Brett Veach next week. We got some OTAs, not OTAs, but things like that coming. We got Royals games to cover. I got to get some lesson plans done today. But for the next 4 hours, no lesson plans. We're just going to have fun like we do on Fridays on New Day with SSJ. Stan Weber is going to be here in a little bit, and we're going to talk to Jeff Pinner about the weather. And
should be some shaky storms tonight.
Yeah. We needed the rain, I'll say that. As an old man who cares about his grass, we need the rain. We needed the rain.
It's dry.
It was very dry. And I got about 1.5 inches of rain at my house the other day. That's good. Probably get some more. Coming up here this weekend, and at 8 o'clock, we're going to talk to Mike McFarland. We've got Pete Sweeney, and we've got Tim Grunhard for who knows how long. Don't know. Timmy's got a doctor's appointment, maybe right now.
We'll have him.
He's going to, we'll have him.
9:05, we'll have
9:05.
Timmy.
Who knows how long, how it'll work. However long Timmy wants to go, we got Timmy.
Yeah.
Because I'll take Timmy anytime. So, the Royals, you heard in the open there, did lose their series finale yesterday to the Twins in just a weird game. I mean, weird. It was, if you were watching this thing on TV, they've had two of the weirdest little weather days back-to-back you could ever have. On Wednesday, it was Bark at the Park, and there was announced 11,000 people there, and it rained throughout the game. They never had a delay, and it took 3.5 hours to finish the game because there were 22 runs scored in the game. And yesterday was the businessman special, as they call it, and it looked sunny, but if you're watching on TV, they have the cameras out in center field, and the wind was blowing so hard and weird, there were times where you just could not see because the water coming up off the fountains. I mean, you could not see the pitch. It was freaking crazy looking. And the Royals offense, which has been just feast or famine for sure. I was texting with some friends I remember my brother on Wednesday, like, save some runs, save them. Of course, they needed most all of them, the way the bullpen fell apart on Wednesday night. But, they just couldn't get anything done yesterday. And then when they finally scratched a run across and made the thing a one-run game, Cruz came in and immediately gave up 3 home runs in the 9th inning. By the way, that's not the most home runs in the 9th inning hit in our area yesterday. Did you see the Kansas Jayhawks hit 4 home runs in the 9th inning against Utah last night to walk them off? They were down 3 and hit 4 home runs in the 9th inning.
Rock chalk, baby.
That's good news. Giving up 3 home runs to the Twins in the 9th inning to take a game that was close to making it difficult. Then, of course, the Royals got 2 guys on in the 9th and double play, whatever. But I'm not going to sit here and break down that loss because there are 162 of them. But there was an interesting thing that happened yesterday, and it's something we're going to talk about today, especially when Mike McFarland comes on, because we've talked a bunch ever since, I mean, really the last couple of years, but it was a big discussion point last year when Freddie Fermin was playing such a good job as the Royals' backup catcher, and Salvador Perez is getting older, and they're trying to get the math right on how often Salvi is going to catch, how often he's going to DH, how often he is going to play first base, because he played a little first base yesterday. Well, lo and behold, they trade Freddie Fermin because they believe in Carter Jensen. Our local boy, done good, comes up. And
they got a great return for Freddie.
They did.
I mean, they really did.
And, it's going to be great for Freddie. He gets to go be a catcher.
Right.
Be the starter for Padres. He played in postseason baseball last year. It's all
we
good.
Wouldn't have the pitching depth that we have right now.
All of it.
With Bergert.
All of it's great. So, we talk a lot about how they're going to work this. Obviously, like day games after night games, those are days Salvi would DH. It's a half a day off, all these kind of things. And this is what I want to ask Mac about when we have him on. And it's different with every team probably, but these guys know what's going on. They don't come to the ballpark generally and get surprised about what's happening. Q tells them, "Hey, tomorrow you're playing right field. You're going to be the catcher. You're going to be whatever's going to happen." Especially these guys who don't play all the time, And like Bobby Witt doesn't get days off. They probably tell him the day before, "Hey, tomorrow you got your day, okay, or your half a day, or whatever it is." Well, Wednesday they had this long game, day game after night game. Salvy's not catching the next day. Carter Jensen's the catcher. And so the lineup comes out, and then the game starts, and they have scratched Carter Jensen from the lineup, not just scratching from catching. And then that's when you're like, oh, did he tweak something in warm-ups? What's going on? He just can't catch. But, whatever. And they end up playing the game. As I said, they lost. And so Matt Quatraro, nobody knew at this point what had happened. Matt Quatraro gets asked in post-game, what was the deal? Why was Carter scratched?
Yeah, Carter had an oversight. Overslept, wasn't here on time, and we made the decision to scratch him from the lineup.
Wasn't here on time. Now, what is on time? That's an ambiguous thing. We saw a football game this year where Chris Jones went and attended a funeral, right, for his aunt, I believe, and got there about an hour before the game. And the Chiefs' rule has been you better be in the locker room 90 minutes before the game. Chris Jones gets there late. He goes up and plays. They knew it was happening. He said, "Listen, here's the deal. My aunt died. I got to fly to Mississippi to go to this funeral. This is the day they're having it. I'm going to get back here. I'm going to do my job." He did that. This was not that. They didn't know. Well, let's play Vinny first, okay? I'm going to play Vinny first here. Vinny is like the spokesperson for the team. He's the guy who will talk.
Yeah, he's the vocal leader. He's the vocal leader.
And you wanted to ask a question about something, you go to Vinny. I will say Carter Jensen talked about this, and I'll give him a ton of credit for that. But first I want to play Vinny because I think you get a little insight about what this means to be accountable, to be on time, to do all those things that you're supposed to do as a Major League Baseball player. Here's Vinny after the game when he was asked about the situation.
Yeah, I mean, you got a 36-year-old catcher who's preparing to DH today, and then his world gets a little rocked that an hour and a half before the game, he's not going to be DHing. So, you credit to Salvy today for being ready. First and foremost, we're glad Carter's okay, right? I mean, that was kind of the initial thought when you're trying to get a hold of his parents and everything like that, to just make sure everything's okay. But once you find out he's okay, it's like, all right, it's a growing moment. He's really young. There are some things that cannot happen, and that's one of them. So he's going to have to wear it on the chin, same way anybody would have to. So it can't happen. And, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But it's one of those things that you can't afford mistakes like that in this game. So just gotta move forward the best that he can. I know he feels really bad. I know that it was not his favorite drive to the field this morning, but it wasn't our favorite morning either. Trying to figure out what was going on. So, he'll learn from it and grow up a little bit. And we're here for him though. It's not like anybody's mad at him. Things happen, but you got to learn from mistakes like that and maybe get another alarm clock or something.
Get another alarm clock at the house. Jake, you are someone who has spent 2 decades being responsible for waking up early. Have you ever had a terrible drive to work because you were late?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there. It's been a long time, though.
Yes.
It's been a long time since that's happened to me. And
22-year-old Jake.
I think probably happened for different reasons than Carter Jensen.
Well, that was, I agree.
I hope.
So here's the thing. We don't want anyone being late to work for the Jake reasons.
No.
So, and there are, you heard Vinny said that. In today's world, it used to be if you didn't know where someone was when I was a kid, okay, fine. You just didn't know where everyone was all the time.
Right.
You didn't know, and you didn't think the worst all the time. So if you can't get a hold of someone and someone doesn't come to work today, now you go into, was there a wreck? Did something happen? What's going on? And so that's what, like, Vinny's like, listen, they're just happy he's okay, right? And as someone who has 2 kids who are older than Carter Jensen, maybe one that's older than Vinny, who when they start driving and they go out of town.
Carter Jensen's 22 years old.
Spend the night somewhere, work trips, whatever. My son is 29 years old, and like he still texts us when the plane lands, right? When he's on a work trip or something like that. His mom likes that, so it's great. So you just like to know where your kids are or whatever. So Carter Jensen is one of the kids on the team, and it's pretty hard to be late to a baseball game. These things aren't happening at 6 a.m.
Right. But it is a day game, so
and you're the starting catcher. You have a little different responsibility. That's what I want to talk to Mac about when we talk to him. Than the DH, right? DH, you got nothing to do with anyone except get your report on what the pitcher's got that day and be ready to go. You're the starting catcher. You're going over stuff with the starting pitcher. Attack plans on how you're going to get the Twins line up and see what they're doing and what are we going to do here? How are we going to sequence this? All that. There's some stuff to it, and Vinny's point was, and this is how it's been, they're trying to figure out how to work this puzzle, how to work how many games Salvi, who, by the way, Salvi will catch every game if he wants to.
Yeah,
that's what he wants to do.
He didn't ask for the day off.
But when they tell you got the day off, then all right, maybe you go to bed that night a little mentally different. You're like, hey, whatever, I'm hitting today. I don't have to worry about this. And then all of a sudden, you have to go, as an older guy, be ready to go and do all these things. So he put his teammate in a bad spot. And that's the worst kind of teammate to put in a bad spot, not someone who's just got to come in and DH or play center field or something like that. So that's a disappointing thing to do. But, like I said, I will give Carter Jensen credit. We've had a lot of situations in sports in Kansas City, in this area, over the past couple of years where people do not stand up and take accountability and talk about things. And I'm not listing them all off, but we've had a lot of times where we're like, what's going on here? And people aren't there to talk about what's going on.
Or they said, we're keeping it in-house. We're not talking about it.
Keep it in-house. We're not talking about
this. Yeah, I'm not going to address that. It's been addressed privately, and we're moving on.
Or just flat out, no, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
All those things.
I'm leaving the locker room before you come
Goodbye.
in here.
I'm dressed and I'm gone.
Right.
Oh, see ya.
Right.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's...
Carter Jensen stood there and talked about this yesterday. Here's Carter Jensen owning up to his mistake.
Yeah, no running from it. Just didn't wake up to my alarm, slept through it. Don't really have an excuse, nor should I. It sucks, happens. I feel like I let teammates down, coaches down. So, just learn from it and just know it won't happen again.
It's the message when he came in and then moving forward. Sounds like it's probably not going to happen again.
Yeah, no, definitely won't happen again. It was tough, I'm just kind of owning up to it, apologizing to guys, as I see them, and just tried to, obviously knew I wasn't going to play, and just tried to, let the starters get their routine in, try not to make it about me, because at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's my mistake, and just move on from it.
So I like that. Very mature, stand there and take the medicine and answer the question. And he had to go around, and sounds like he went around and apologized to everybody. Sorry about this, oops. Won't happen again. Now, I'd had more questions. Are you a Samsung guy, an Apple guy? How many alarms you got set? How many alarms do you have on your phone, Jake?
I'm curious. Me?
Yes.
Oh,
you have a lot. How many do you set on a normal night?
This morning, I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 7 alarms set this morning.
7 alarms.
7 alarms.
Which one did you get up on?
My
third
one.
Third? It's about right. It's your average.
Yeah,
and you had a late night last night.
I did. So I have alarm goes off 2:45, 2:50, 2:55, 3:05, and then the emergency one is 3:42. But I also have it set for 3:42 because that's the end of my meditation alarm too.
Yeah.
So I get up.
Double alarm.
Yeah. So I have it. If I push all those alarms off, and my 3:42 alarm goes off.
Then your meditation happened while you slept.
Right. Well, then the cold tub's getting pushed back.
Yeah.
But I have.
You got to think. I have one alarm that I had set last night for 4:55, and I woke up at about 4:20, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go back to sleep. And then I woke up about 5 minutes till, and I said I should have just gotten up, but I didn't. And I fell back asleep, and then my alarm actually went off. And Friday is the day that my wife doesn't go to work. So It went off, and then I'm just so bad at actually using an alarm because I don't have to get up very early that I could not. It did like 20 seconds of alarming before I could figure out how to turn the thing off. I apologized to her. I said, I'm so sorry. I know you don't have to get up today. Anyways, hopefully she went back to sleep. But, when I had a rule when I was in college, I've always been an early riser. I'm an old man, and now I'm never going to be someone who sleeps. Even when I was 22, I was not a sleeper. Really, I wasn't like I'll sleep till noon guy. But my rule in college was I had an old school alarm clock, and I put it across the room, and that way I had to get out of bed to go turn it off. And if I got out of bed, if my feet were on the floor, no snooze. So I'm good. So I've always kind of been that way. And I've never really had to get up very early in my life except to come here and do this. Like a normal day, I just wake up, I come to work, and it's fine.
Well, your body learns your circadian rhythm. It learns your patterns. And the thing is that this is a day game, so, I mean, whatever time he's used to waking up for...
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
And this is a day game, and it's early.
And they had a long night the night before.
Right.
It was a longer night.
For sure. I mean, because, like, you can train your subconscious to not need alarms.
Yeah.
Like, you really can. Like, if you tell yourself, this is what time I want to wake up.
Generally speaking, I wake up before my 4:55 alarm because I've already told myself.
Right. Your subconscious wakes you up.
up.
And there's a lot of science that goes behind that because your body, usually around 2 or 3 in the morning, so your body's coldest temperature it gets to all day long is when you're in your deepest sleep.
Deepest sleep, yeah.
And then what your body starts heating back up, and then your cortisol levels raise. And that's what wakes you up. Your body's temperature rising plus the cortisol level rising in your body. That's all. It's all. It decreases the melatonin. It increases the cortisol in your body.
And they do a lot. Listen, Major League Baseball, it's a big deal now. I mean, they got sleep chambers and all this stuff for these guys at these places because they know it's important.
Yeah, it is.
And he got a little too much the night before. Anyway, we're not going to.
Honestly, too, he's 22. Your frontal lobe isn't fully formed, and like he's probably still growing a little bit.
Sure. Well, and listen, I got plenty of friends, my own kids. They haven't been like noon sleepers or whatever, but when they were younger, yeah, that'd be the Saturday or whatever. They'd sleep a little later, do whatever. So it's just. But now here's the deal. You're responsible. You're professional.
Yes,
and
you
you
are.
got to. And listen, he was at the stadium before the game started, but that's not the rule.
Right.
We don't walk in here at 6:01 and try to do this. Now we're not here 2 hours before the show starts, but you got certain things you're responsible for doing. He did not get that done yesterday. I'm glad he talked about it, and I'm glad he's okay, just like Vinny said, and he will learn from this. And
it's a bad look.
I know what he's going to get for birthday presents from every player. When's his birthday? Because he's going to be getting alarm clocks. It will be the white elephant present, the whole 9 yards. For his whole life. When's his birthday? Did he just turn 22? I think it's this summer. Oh, July 3rd. Bang. He's going to be getting alarm clocks from the kangaroo court. He going to get
old school alarm clocks.
Yeah, whether the little bells on top with the little
or one of those old school GEs. I still have one of those in my room.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, like when these guys go on the road, they don't rely on what he used to rely on when you were on the road.
Wake up call.
Wake up call.
I used to get
tell a 22-year-old today what's a wake up call. My son, they went to
get 2 of them.
They went out of town when they were in high school. They went to some sort of a STEM competition, and they had like 4 guys crammed in a room, and they overslept, and they missed the bus and had to find their way to the thing. I'm like, you didn't do a wake up call. He was like, what do you mean wake up call?
Yeah.
What do you mean wake up call? You call the front desk. You tell them you want to wake up at 6:30.
No, I remember.
He's like, what?
I was staying at a hotel in Tampa, and I had an early morning flight on a Monday, and the power in the hotel went out.
Oh, see, that'll mess it up.
And they lost the board of wake up calls. And so I didn't get a wake up call, and I missed my flight. The hotel ended up having to pay for the change of the flight.
That's a rough deal for the hotel.
Well, I mean,
costly.
I woke up and I was like, where was my wake up call? Like, we're so sorry, sir. Our power went out overnight, and we lost our call board.
You got to have a hard copy on that one. You're knocking on doors.
This is,
Anyway, we're having fun with it. It was a big deal because, listen, you only have 162 of these, and he's not going to get to catch all of them.
No.
I mean, so that's the part that if this were, the right fielder, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's the catcher when they have all of this stuff going on.
Right,
Who's going to catch how often, all these things.
If it was Vinny, it's different. If it's the first base,
Yeah.
it's the fact that now Cole Reagans thought he was throwing to Carter Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
They're different.
Salvi thought he was DHing.
Yep, and I mean it's a bad look and it's a bad situation. And
Now, they ended up losing the game, not because Cole Reagans wasn't any good.
No,
because Cole Reagans was great.
Yeah, he was.
The only run that scored was when Salvi threw the ball over second base.
Well,
So
I mean, he wasn't supposed to be catching.
no. And then was Carter Jensen catching when they gave up the 3 home runs?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
So
was.
It's all pretty bad.
He was.
Bad look. But it's 1 out of 162. They won the series, and they got the Brewers coming to town, and we'll see how that goes. I promise you, Carter Jensen will be the first one at the ballpark today for the night game. He might be there right now.
That's the learning lesson, right?
Yeah.
Like, hopefully he turns this in, and now he's, like, for me, I would think, like, you're going to be the first guy at the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to be, like, I'm going to make a statement, and I'm going to make sure I beat everybody into the ballpark.
Yep.
Every day.
Every
day,
single
I'm going to be
day.
the first guy there.
We are underway on New Day with SSJ. Without SSJ, I'm Todd Leabo. Stan Weber is here. He's coming up next. Welcome back into New Day with SSJ. Without SSJ, I'm Todd Leabo. We're underway on this Friday morning, and Stan Weber is sitting down in studio. Good morning, Stan.
Good morning, Todd.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Wonderful. Because we were just talking, I'm going on vacation next week, so
Wow.
it's the last day of school for a while. But there's a lot of work to do on the last day of school.
Yes.
Don't just roll out of here.
Finish it strong today.
Yeah. And I'm not running out of here at 10:01. Things to do. That's all right. Got to make sure everything's done before you leave.
When you're the ligament, you got to make sure
The ligament,
all
you
the
got to
bones are
get it all
connected
done.
together.
And then you just
work
got to hope
well.
everything works while I'm gone. But I got a lot of good people to make sure things are going to happen. Jake's going to
You
help.
taught a lot of great
Drake's
people.
going to help. Beckonie's going to help. A lot of these little things. Everyone will pull their weight. And there's a pretty good portion of the time the Royals are out of town. So that kind of helps too.
Less coverage. Don't need to go to the locker room, the clubhouse.
Yeah, not as much. We have they're home this weekend. I'll be here this weekend, but then they're going to be out of town for a bit, and then it's all good. We have a little Chief stuff coming up. They finally got their off-season schedule sent out with their OTAs, and this was interesting, Jake. We were talking before that they're very scheduled. Andy is very much a creature of habit.
He's buttoned down.
They do this on this date and all this stuff. So generally, in the calendar's weird, because sometimes it's a late year, sometimes it's an early year. Last year was kind of an early year. That's why we ended up with like a couple bye weeks in college football and all that. This year is a late year because Super Bowl's on February 14th this year. It's on Valentine's Day. Yeah, that's right, Valentine's Day.
Wow, that's
Super
late.
Bowl, yeah.
That's late for a Super Bowl, right?
It is. It is because the Labor
Probably
Day.
the latest date.
Labor Day is the latest that it can be, I think, this year. So in
You mean in terms of end of the week?
yeah, well, Labor Day is the Monday, but it's the
number
it could be
of
the
day of
first.
the
It's
month.
like it's like the 7th or 8th, so it's late, and so that's how they set their schedule because they don't play on Labor Day.
Right.
So the schedule starts on a Wednesday this year, not a Thursday, because of the 1961 Sports Act. And they're playing in Australia, and then they can't play on a Friday. It's all weird.
Well, they are playing on a Friday, but it's on a Friday in Australia. It's a Thursday.
No, it's a Wednesday here. It's a Thursday in Australia. They're playing on Wednesday.
But he's saying it's
That game's on
Friday in
Wednesday.
Australia while they're playing.
No, it's
We
going to be
watched on
Thursday in
Thursday.
Australia. The game's going to be that game's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday night in America, or something like
Well,
that.
that's the second game of the.
But they're not
Yes,
playing.
game 2.
But so I think they're playing that. The Seattle plays on the Wednesday, then the other's the Thursday.
Right.
Anyway.
But that's what I'm saying.
They had to move the one there because they couldn't play on Friday here, which they could for the last 2 years because of the Sports Act of 1961. And they can't do that this year. So it's weird. And that's, by the way, it's why they had to, Sporting was playing Seattle that week, and they had to move that match because it was going to be the same day as the Seattle Seahawks opener. Anyway, so the Chiefs generally, in the teens of June, is their mandatory minicamp, and they kind of work their stuff around that. Well, what's happening on the Tuesday of the teens of June at
World
Arrowhead
Cup.
Stadium? There's a World Cup match there. So I was like, I wonder how this is going to go. So it's moved a week forward. So their mandatory minicamp is early-ish. It's whatever that 9, 10, 11 or something instead of the later one. So they sent their schedule out this week. So it's all coming together.
So
And
Todd's schedule's being set as well.
Everyone's schedule's being set, and there's going to be some Brett Veach.
And the NFL will come out
next
with
week.
the actual NFL
And not
schedule.
till after. That's the funniest
A
part.
month
Usually
from
in
now.
May.
It's in May, and they won't tell us till about 2 days before what the day is. I mean, come on. But we're already getting some things, like this Australia deal.
Right. That's the.
I love the
Rams are playing.
Introduction
Yeah.
of the schedule,
Yeah, they have.
but the leakage is kind of crazy. Where
Yeah, and then some of it's
Hours
planned,
before, days
planned
before,
leakage.
2
you know.
days before.
It's absolutely planned leakage.
They're
they want
um,
to take the calendar up for another couple of days.
Well, they end up on, they give each partner a chance to announce a game.
Yes.
So Amazon will say a game, and Fox will say a game, and all that, everything. So, but we will have the 16th next. There's going to be Brett Veach available on the 16th. It's pre-draft. Or that's two Thursdays.
Will
from
you
now.
be out of town?
I will be out of town.
Can
I
he
will be
have
out. He can. He'll
A press conference without you there?
1,000%.
Whoa, I don't
They'll be
know.
just fine.
That may break Andy's rules.
No, they'd
Andy
rather,
has a sequence.
They'd rather have me not around. But then they'll have a lot of Zoom stuff, and then they have regular OTAs, rookie minicamp after the draft, and then the mandatory minicamp is June 9, 10, 11. So it works out fine. They will be out of Truman Sports Complex when it comes time for that. Now, the Royals and the World Cup will overlap, and it's going to get weird out there for that. They have a series when the Cardinals come to town where they play the Cardinals on Thursday and Friday and have an off day on Saturday because there's a match. And then they have a game on Sunday. It's pretty obvious you couldn't have both those things the same day because of the traffic. Even though Game 7 of the 1985 World Series happened the day of a Chiefs game, it's a different world today, okay? They don't have those dates. They've had a couple of days where there was a Royals game and a U2 concert. They had a Beyonce after a Royals game. It was an absolute disaster because the traffic, they couldn't get in because the game went long, stuff like that. So they are not doing that. But I am curious to see. My understanding is that many of the parking lot availabilities will not be there when the World Cup comes to town because there's big festival things, there's all the stuff. So some of the parking places aren't going to be there. So my thought would have been, hey, have the Rays come here that week, not the Cardinals, because they don't need as many parking places when they come. But it's the Cardinals. They're #1 attended series every year. So if people are coming over from St. Louis, I mean, it'd be fun for them. Maybe,
But it's less than 40,000. It's not football crowd.
It's not. But
And that
they
parking facility can handle the 75,000. So
sort of, yeah.
Well,
sort of. But if there's a big chunk of it that's going to be for hospitality and all that stuff, it'll be interesting. But they're working hard on it, and they're figuring it out and trying to get it done. And there's only a couple places in the country where this is a factor. I think Philly, because their stadiums are right next to each other. This isn't a problem for the games in L.A. SoFi is not next to Dodger Stadium, or what do they call the other one now? I'll call it the Big A.
Anaheim?
Yeah. The Big A. But Philadelphia, they're in the same place.
yeah, it's a lot like it's a little like the Chiefs, where the football
right
stadium
there,
and the
share parking
baseball
lots.
are
They share parking lots.
very near each other.
So they'll have some things like that. So we'll get used to all of it. We'll find our way through it. So, it'll be fun. What did you think of a young kid showing up late to work yesterday, Carter Jensen, not being there on time and having to get scratched? That's as a teammate, and when you played or you've been around, you've coached your kids, pretty much being on time is job one.
Well, being ready to play,
Yeah.
I guess. But it's a big deal, a big lesson, and feeling left out is the worst feeling. So it's the best teaching tool.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't have planned it better for his future career, for the rest of his career. I don't think he's going to have an issue, but man, that haunts you when you get to be, you get to be the starting catcher today, and you blow that opportunity. Just start right there. Forget all we let down the teammates, and Vinny spoke very well about, hey, you can't do this. Salvi, you're messing with Salvi, who I couldn't believe was catching in the rain forever and ever and ever the night before, because Bobby Witt Jr. was resting when the Royals had a big lead. But the big thing I kept saying is Salvi's still playing, and then a day game after a night game,
Because he wasn't playing the next day.
He has to go out there and
Pretty
catch.
bad situation. It'd be different if they played a 2-hour and 10-minute game the night before. But it was 3.5 hours.
But just to
it rained.
miss your chance to catch is the most painful, and then all the other things of letting down your teammates.
They certainly did the right thing by saying you're out of
They
the
made
lineup.
the lesson very easy.
Yeah, you don't because you
don't have to yell and cuss at someone now when you say you're done.
You're not playing. You're not starting.
And there's nothing like the manager doesn't even pay attention to you. Just says you're not playing. End of story. That I guess is the old. Does someone have a grandpa who looked at him with disappointment one time, or a mother
stuck with him?
Someone like, oh wait, that does not happen. I do not want to disappoint that person. So, in the end, I think it's going to work out very well for them. But for him, wow. Just having a dream. You have a dream? You're missing your test? Does anybody?
Oh yeah.
Wake up and go, Why didn't I get to class?
I'm
I was
late.
trying to get there.
No, I'm
why
not
did I
late.
stop and get a coffee or go to the library? or,
I have horrific dreams that I'm late to hear, and then I can't get the computer working, and we're off the air.
Well, that's reality sometimes, the computer.
right. No, like those
but
are
you have these real life dreams right now, not the high school college dream.
No, yeah, like
Wow.
I'll wake up and
That's real.
I'll be like, man, Drake was mad at me.
But he wasn't.
No, but he's not.
So you have an odd schedule.
Yes,
You do a lot of weird
changes.
things. How do you do it? You an alarm guy, or you got a circadian rhythms? You just waking up guy? Because you will get home from a K-State basketball road trip at whatever time.
Yeah, it's not unusual to be 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and
Office
be up
is
by
closer
7.
now, huh?
Oh yeah, my office is
helps.
closer. Yeah, every minute, every minute matters. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, my sleeping pattern. If you're supposed to have a constant pattern, I guess you read that to say your body likes a constant pattern. I'd be the opposite of that. Every day is
like
a new
chaos?
adventure. Just like
So
today,
you have an
today I'm
alarm
in
clock
here.
on your phone, or do you wake up without an alarm clock, or you got an
95%
old school?
of the time, I do not use alarm clock.
You have it
Friday
set for
mornings,
backup?
no backups.
Okay.
I woke up early in my whole life. It doesn't seem to be a problem. And I also have a wife who's up super early.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfair to say I don't have an alarm clock, because when there's a human being
human
that's as
alarm
reliable
clock?
as she is,
can shake you.
she makes noise. That
Friday morning, get up.
your brain. Your brain can kind of understand. I believe, like, hey, I'm going to bed at 3. I'm not sleeping for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But sleep well. But don't be surprised when you wake up at 6, 6:30, 7. That's good. Let's go. The day started. And I don't get bothered by not having a lot of sleep. Does that make sense? It doesn't mess
Yeah.
with me very much at all. And that's the thing that allows me. Most people say, how can you keep that schedule? Because one night I'm up at midnight working on stuff, watching games, whatever. And here I am getting in here before 6:30 on Friday morning. So it's a little bit earlier to be completely ready, rolled, and here. That'd be the earliest morning start I usually have. So Fridays are a little bit different than other days. But it's a variety for me. My wife is obviously the biggest answer. That if I just say, hey, make sure that I don't sleep past 6
But do
o'clock.
you know how to set an alarm on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
I did today.
You did. What do you have to set for today?
5:15.
And you woke up before that.
Yes, I did.
See? Because you got it in there. Because it's game day.
Because I knew.
It was game day.
You can
come
feel
in
it.
here.
Exactly.
You just know. You're the weird one. Like
At 5 o'clock, I was wide awake, and I hardly ever hear that alarm go off. So maybe I ought to test it.
to see if it actually works.
Yeah, because I go over and go, alarm off, let's go.
Yeah, I set it, and then I'm almost always awake before. But like this morning, I went back to sleep, and then it went off, and I couldn't turn it off because I'm just not good at using it because I don't have to use one very often. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you're wherever you got to be on time. So I've always told my kids the number one lesson: be there. You will be ahead of most everyone your age if you show up on time.
And
And
I
you're
was at
accountable.
a great event, Todd, on a Saturday about a month ago, where Sean Snyder, the son of Bill Snyder, said we really ought to try to get together as a group. And they planned this for almost a full year. And people, they said, let's get the foundation, which would be his first team ever, 1989, when he transitioned to K-State being the worst football program in the world, to starting it all off. And they didn't get the rewards. Okay, the 1989 team just got the work.
They got to win.
and they got to win.
They got to win.
But from that period of time into the early 90s, mid 90s, whatever, all these people got together. And the funniest thing to hear is now these guys are not young, okay, over 50 years old. Guys who are grown up, kids out of college and everything else. And I'm talking to them, and they're from all over the country. And one of the funniest things they kept saying is what Bill Snyder taught them, because he taught them about Wildcat time or whatever he called it,
Or your
cat
early-
time.
Yeah.
That's like 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
If you walk into a meeting at Bill Snyder's and you're not there before 10:10, you might be late.
Yeah, you're late.
And my youngest
Live their lives on cat
son,
time.
who's studying to be a priest right now, was on a road trip. He made the traveling squad right away when he was a freshman. And he was really concerned about not messing up, total young guy. So every time they had to get a team meeting on a road game, so you land Friday afternoon, and depending on game time on Saturday, there's a lot of times you come and you're supposed to meet, right, and go eat and all these things. So he's in there, first one, waiting around, doing a really good job. So the next game, he's like, wow, I thought this was going to be really stressed, but shoot, no one seems to be in any hurry. Everyone's really calm. And all of a sudden, he's thinking, that's 15 tell. About time for me to get ready. And all of a sudden, his brother called him, my son Stanton, who's the coach, like, where are you? He's like, what, man? I'm leaving my hotel room right now. I'll be down in a couple minutes. Why? He goes, everybody's here but you. And he said, oh, I thought I learned the last thing. He goes,
no.
Is Coach there? He's like, no, but you better get here before him.
You best walk in before him.
So
yeah,
that's when that's in that hotel elevator. Seems like it's going really slow.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Why is it stopping on this other floor? I don't need that.
It takes like 5 extra seconds. But
yeah.
So all those guys said, Bill Snyder taught them forever. They are never late and not even close. They still get there super early.
We are on Jake time right now. He says we have to break, so we're going break. Stan Weber's here on a Friday. We got a little short segment here before the top of the hour, Stan. We could talk more about, what do you want to talk about for a short time? What do you want to talk about for a long time?
I don't know what the options are, but my buddy
Anything.
Brad Underwood is coaching in the Final Four.
I know.
How about that?
It's crazy.
I can't
I heard
believe
you
how many
talking
guys I
last
really
week
know.
about his son is a major part
Yeah, offensive coordinator Tyler.
of what they do, and we're going to play a soundbite here a little bit later in the show, maybe from Keaton Wagler, who is from here, Shawnee Mission Northwest. And
Supposedly Tyler's the guy who said you ought
that's
to
right.
bring
So
that guy.
Soren chatted with him yesterday. They're going to play the whole thing today in the 4 o'clock hour, I think. And
He spoke with Tyler?
No, with Keaton Wagler.
Okay.
And the bite we're going to play is, well, we can go ahead and play it now. You want to play it?
Sure.
And let's play it. So the whole thing, how'd this kid from Shawnee Mission Northwest get out of here? And the story that Brad Underwood has told is a friend of theirs talked to someone, and Tyler was integral in going and watching and kind of get this, because I don't think Coach Underwood had really seen him. But Tyler said, this is the guy, right? So here is Keaton Wagler talking to Petro about his recruitment, because the story all around has been like he wasn't getting lots of big-time offers.
Yeah, no, that's definitely how I remember it. There was a lot of low and mid-major D1s that were talking to me throughout, my junior, senior years of high school, and then, Illinois came on late July into August. And, when I got the phone call from them and I got the offer and I went on my visit, I knew that's where I wanted to be.
I take phone calls here for a living from sports fans, from local college fans, and just about every one of them calls me that's a fan of the local schools, KU, Missouri, K-State. They want to know why their school wasn't recruiting you. Did you get any interest from any of the local schools at all?
The only local school was KU that I got interest from. I went on an unofficial visit to one of their games one time, and that was about all I heard from them.
So that makes a lot of people frustrated in a lot of ways around here. K-State fans, KU fans, Missouri fans. But it's credit to Tyler Underwood, really, and Brad that they saw this kid. Nate was talking yesterday. He'd seen him play a few times because Nate's nephew played at South.
Shawnee Mission South.
That's their big rival, right? And his nephew was like, well, he's a good player, but I don't know he's going to be this. I don't think anyone knew, because otherwise everyone would have been on him. But
yeah, no one knew he was going to be a lottery pick.
yeah, so this is pretty amazing story for a kid. He got bigger and stronger, and then he got to play, and he's playing with great coaching, great players, and you get to watch this guy go. It's something else, isn't it?
It's amazing, and it's encouraging to me because I am such a backer of the high school programs, especially in the Kansas City area. This is a high level of athleticism being played around here in football, basketball, baseball, in the many sports. How many guys we know talk about make the major leagues from around here. So I'm a big believer in I was hearing some people talk the other day who were major leaguers, and they were saying Ryan Lefevre was involved in a conversation and saying you need to play all sports. Don't just have your body do one thing. If you just play one sport and have that repetitive factor on your body, you actually aren't developing everything, and you're likely to get injured and everything else. Don't try to specialize. Specialize later. Play all sports. Play high school sports. Play games that matter. I talk to coaches all the time. They say the kids don't know about winning and losing. They don't really care, because if they're, in our example, an AAU basketball player, you go play 3 to 5 games on a weekend. You can't keep track of when you won, when you lost. Competition's high. I get all that.
You know how many points you scored, though.
Yeah, exactly. and so there's where the recruiters are. So that's when you got to show out. I get it. It's very easy to say, where should this kid's focus be? And it's going to be, I'm going to play and score at that AAU tournament. Not, I can't wait to play my high school game and get my only 20 games in a year or whatever. But I think that getting some rest, understanding how to win, how to play for a team, and playing super competitive basketball with real uniforms on, where you remember who's winning and losing, and you feel the pain of it when you see those kids from your rival school around town and they're laughing because they beat you. Those are the kind of things I think that really help athletes. So I love the idea that he was able. I love what his parents did. I don't know them, but if they are listening to us or hear anybody tell them what we think, I just appreciate so much that they played with confidence, because I see so many parents burn their kids out about saying they want to be the best 7th grader or 4th grader in the world. And your body and mind is not ready for it. Let it marinate, let them grow up, and make high school a big deal, and you can have the ultimate success.
It's an amazing story because he's like, you look at these rankings in the high school rankings, he's, 150, 200, depending, way down there. And
recruiting services.
But then he won 2
recruiting
state
service.
championships at
Yeah.
Shawnee Mission
Yeah,
Northwest.
and back to back, and then
At Northwest, who doesn't dominate.
So here's the
and
wild
the
thing,
first one,
too.
they went 25-0.
Yeah.
his
So-
junior year.
That is what I should, does the guy win?
We talked so much when KU won the title in 22. They had a kid from Oak Park High and Blue Valley Northwest High. And they were just some local KC kids. It's some other players on the team, but pretty amazing. These kids they just went to high school.
His championship before that, he had a Bishop Miesh
And
guy who worked his way in.
the top of that class last year was Darren Peterson. He went to something called Prolific Prep. And he's from Ohio, lived in California, went to several high schools. AJ DeBanza, Utah Prep. Cam Boozer went to Christopher Columbus High in Miami. It's a private school. It's like a Rockhurst in Miami. The next player, the Highland School, IMG Academy, the DME Academy, the Link Academy. Scroll down, more Overtime Elite. I mean, these aren't. I get what we're turning into, like little factories for basketball players. It's the European model of soccer. You go get a kid and you put him in the academy to do these things. Fine, I guess, but I think there's something awesome about the kid went to the neighborhood high school, won a couple of state titles. He's in the Final Four, and he's going to be in the NBA.
Yeah, he was Mr. Basketball in Kansas.
That's an amazing thing.
2 years in a row.
Didn't go to anything that said academy at the end, which is just a place to play basketball.
Well, and I think
kind of do a little.
he played
school.
AAU for Victor Williams, and I think
Yeah.
that was a big part of the recruiting. And Brad Underwood talked
Yeah,
about
he
it.
did, yeah.
Like, he talked to Vic, and Vic really he pushed this guy on me, and told me I need to take a look at this kid. So I mean that.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to go to one of these prep schools and go do that. 'Cause that's what your parents
Or
wanna do,
me
whatever,
saying
it's fine.
to play with an AAU team.
Yeah.
But don't forget what you do in high school and your high school team. And
Because that's the kind of fun memory kind of stuff that you get to build. Because we've talked about this before. These kids go to multiple colleges now. Who's your rival? What do you feel like you went to school? I mean, what are you? I remember asking Brashard Smith before the playoff last year because Miami was in it, and he went to Miami, but he also went to SMU. I said, how does this? What are you? He's like, SMU holds a special place. It was the last place. They believed him, whatever. But he had some friends who played for Miami. And some of these kids now at 3-4 high schools, who's your rival? I mean, who is IMG Academy's rival? The fun part of high school is it like, Bishop Miege has a rival, or St. Thomas Aquinas has a rival, things like that. Shawnee Mission Northwest has a rival. I don't know. There's more than one way to get the job done. I like this way better.
yes, because let's don't criticize anybody who takes a chance to develop the money stream that they do. I mean, when people go to college and act all idealistic, I ask them, why aren't you still in college? If it's just all about learning, why did you just stop at that degree? Why did you just stop at that number of hours? There's tons of things being taught over there. Oh, really what you went is to get yourself a marketable skill so that you could go out and make money. So there's nothing wrong with saying, you got a great athlete, let's get them to the academy where they're going to teach them about basketball, let's get them their NIL in college and onto the NBA or European leagues. I get all that. But that's not optimal. It works and it's okay, but it's not optimal because you're not developing their whole being. And guess what? They need to develop their whole being because even if they're the greatest players in the world, they are likely to be cycled out by 30 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we say players are old at 30?
No, yeah.
And you've got to find the balance in all your skills. And that's where a kid who stays in high school, can play some AAU tournaments in the offseason. That's cool. But the more you can develop the whole person, the better chance you have as Salvador Perez or a Patrick Mahomes or a Bobby Witt Jr.
Well,
not just skill level.
The
and
Final
money.
Four is going to be awesome. We have the games for you tomorrow night. And then
But my buddy Brad Underwood,
he's there.
I mean, I went to college with him.
You know who was an assistant when I was at Western Illinois for the Leathernecks basketball team?
No.
Brad Underwood.
Bang. Everywhere.
Yep.
Great guy.
He was there for 10 years.
Talked to him several times on the Final Four radio
great family,
row.
his wife Susan. And what makes it great is not only is he a friend of mine, like a real life, gosh, I can't believe he's in the Final Four. What happens if he wins a national championship? I know Bill Self, but it's not like he's my best buddy or I grew up with him. So we get a chance to meet a lot of unbelievable people in the sports world with the access we get. But to have a true friend like that, and then I love joking with him. This is my inside joke with Brad, is how he's just some rich guy. Because the fact is, he was an assistant at Western Illinois.
From 92 to 2003.
Do you have his resume there? Then he's a junior college coach.
Yeah, Daytona Beach.
Which he might have had to pay them to coach. I mean, it was
then he got back with
he
Huggy.
has children, right? He is a real family man.
Yeah.
He and Susan have a great marriage, great faith in God, and no money.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just working basketball. And then Bob Huggins comes to K-State about 21 years ago and hires Brad, not as an assistant coach, to work on staff, like video or whatever. So he gets to K-State, at least he gets decent money, but not even assistant coach money.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't made it. And this is when I'm back, we're together all the time, and I'm just laughing because then he worked his way up to an assistant coach, and I go, oh man, you are so rich. All you college coaches are so rich. And he is just laughing about how many years, 50 years of his life, that it was not
Before
like
he
that.
got-
From
get that
McPherson,
money.
Kansas.
He spent 11 years in Macomb, Illinois.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
Macomb.
a couple of dollars goes a long way in Macomb.
And then he made it to Stephen F. Austin.
Yep.
So, he got paid like a normal person maybe, but not that much money. So that's what the funny joke with him is, oh, you're just some rich assistant coach. And he looks at me like his ice piercing through me, and we just laugh about it. Now when I say it like
rewards
I
now,
can say, yeah, you are really one of those rich guys right now.
I
with
like Coach
contract
Huggins.
he has
I'm
in
rooting for
Illinois.
him. It's going to be tough sledding for him.
He's a great
But
guy.
They can do it. They can do it. They're a tough team.
You know how many guys I really do know, though, when you think about Bob Huggins, Frank Martin, Bruce Weber's a friend of mine. He made the Final Four. Lon Kruger, I know pretty well. Not like growing up with Brad Underwood, but Lon Kruger recruited me to say, hey, would you consider playing
Kevin
basketball
Kruger's
and
on their
football?
staff now, too, I think.
He's at
there.
Illinois.
Yeah. Jason
Yeah.
had him on yesterday. Yeah, wild stuff. Stan Weber's here. We got another hour to go with Stan. Mike McFarland after that. Tim Grunhard's still to come.